Hello there, and in this video we're going to be answering one of the biggest questions that parents and teachers and even teens themselves are asking today, and that is, why is college so stressful for teens? And the answer to that may be more profound than you can imagine. All right, if we're going to delve into this and really understand it, it's important to understand this idea of performance pressures, right? And what teens are feeling to perform. Along with that, or how that is connected to this, is this idea of social comparison and what that does. And then the culture of the schools, the family culture, the climate, all those things, what that does to teens, their own self-identity, what that will do, and of course, this idea of failure, this fear of failure or not being able to achieve your desired goals and outcomes. All of those things are factoring in. We're going to be delving into each of those next. According to one American Psychological Association study, 83% of teens say that stress or the desire to perform really well, that pressure is number one. 83% really feel high pressure to perform academically. That creates a lot of stress in their life. The idea that we are kind of messaging is that their ability to get those really good grades at their college are going to determine their opportunities in life afterwards. That good job, that coveted great career path type of job, is going to be largely determined, in their view, by how well they do in school and how well they master their subject matter, that major that they have chosen. That belief that they're operating under, whether true or not, to them is true. Therefore, they put pressure on themselves to perform. And I got to tell you the story of a good friend of mine who has been incredibly successful in his life, financially, as an academician, as a professor. How's that? As a professor, right? He was a chemistry person. He has started. He's now in his sixth drug company, like major drugs. Like, he's made hundreds of millions of dollars, right? This kind of success. Yet when he was in college, he failed organic chemistry twice, including his senior year when he was already accepted into graduate school. So the message there is, sure, academics matter, but they are not the end all, be all. They will not automatically determine your success in your chosen career path. And it's important to recognize that so you can manage your emotions around that properly. We have alluded to this and directly addressed this next issue in a number of videos, and this idea of social comparison. And it doesn't go away in college. It's not just a high school thing. When students are in college and you're beginning to compare yourself to other college students, other colleges, right? Oh, I'm only going to the University of Southern Maine. There's no way I'm going to be able to get into this particular school or that particular school. I'm not going to do as well. When you begin to do that comparison, it puts this pressure on you, raises your anxiety level, it leads to higher challenges with your mental health. And it's really based on a false premise. That's one of the points that we need to get through to teenagers. The thing that matters most in your success is going to be your mindset. It's going to be those set of beliefs and your ability to manage emotions going through your life. That matters more than anything else. Within that, those beliefs you have around how to relate to other people, how to communicate, every area of your life, when you get those mindset aligned, that's what's going to make the biggest, most important difference. And when you just compare yourself to other people, you're putting yourself behind the eight ball, escalating your stress pressures, and it's all based on a flawed premise. Now, the culture that you have been brought up in is one significant factor as well. There's two things at play here. One is the first generation student, the one who's going to be breaking those barriers, so to speak, and getting into college. The pressures there can be enormous for them as they bearing the weight of breaking this pattern, this cycle, and being that first one to succeed and carrying all those hopes with maybe it's been their parents who've been encouraging them. You're going to be the first one. You're going to do this for us. You're going to, and those pressures can really escalate. The other factor to that is coming from a family that, all Ivy Leaguers, all top university people, and your pressure to try to get into those schools, or if you do get into those schools, whichever college you end up choosing, you still have that legacy of achieving at high levels in college. So on either end of the spectrum of those, the pressures can be enormous and it can have great amount of stress for those students. And it's important for students who come in from those backgrounds to have a really proper mindset developed so that they can understand the roles, understand themselves, how to handle all that, the beliefs behind all this. Are they supportive of their outcomes and desires, or are they maybe hindering that? This is all things that should be considered in the cultural aspect of the pressures as you get ready to go off to college. When you're in high school, the pressures around identity are trying to figure out who you are. When you get into college, it's more about where you belong. A lot of kids got tied up into the major and trying to choose the right major. Major maybe is being driven by, where the good job's going to be. So I'm really good at math. What major will lead me to the right jobs? And it might not be math major. It might be something else because you think that's where the good jobs are that use math. Maybe it's engineering because there's so much math in that. Something is trying to decide, and the pressure to decide, where do I belong? And they get stuck also with this idea that, when I decide now, this is setting my path for life, which again is a flawed idea. So many people change careers during their life, right? They change careers more than once. It's important for teens to really understand that. The college journey, trying to figure out where you belong, is just that. It's a journey. Okay? And the mindset around that needs to be taught and adjusted and trained. It's about really learning as much as you can in areas that you enjoy and like, and taking the thinking that's supposed to go along with those and figuring out how you can use that, what you presumably enjoyed, to then build a career, right? And understanding that most people change careers multiple times because you continue to grow and change. That shift in your thinking will do a tremendous amount for helping you manage stress. It's an older study now. It was done about 10 years ago, but there's a study that showed that when students aren't prepared for college, then their stress levels rise. And an emotion that is behind a lot of that, preparedness, and that means preparedness not just for college, but being prepared for life after college, which is another area that when kids graduate from college, I know, I've heard it from my children. I've heard it from their friends. They didn't feel prepared for life after college. Just had a communication just last week with somebody, a young person who is reaching out to actually be a guest on my podcast because of how much she's been doing and achieving. And she's feeling under tremendous pressure right now. All right. She hasn't actually learned how to deal with the stress and the successes that she's experienced and all that. What's behind a lot of this is fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of disappointing somebody, right? All of this fear-driven emotion needs to be cleaned up and handled and understood. And it is often buried. And it's not, when I do my work with people, that's an emotion that comes out like, got to dig a little bit. It's not one that pops right up, right? That's not, it's lurking there in the unconscious. And when it comes up, it's like, usually like, oh, yeah, I am feeling that. So it's a sinister emotion that you need to understand how it works, how it operates, how to address it, how to learn from it, and let go of it, because it absolutely adds to the pressure that teenagers feel and college students feel. Now we've come to the end of yet another video on this series of teen mental health and stress and all of that. And I, again, encourage you to subscribe to my channel as always. Beyond that, and checking out those videos, I would encourage you to register for one of my other webinars, and that one would be Empower and Excel. And the link to that will be in the description of this video. So check that out today, and I'll see you in the next video.